Welcome back to Recap Kickback. We'll chop it up about all the TV and movies and music and media that's out and popping right now. But we make sure to highlight Black media any chance we get. It's me, your host, Chappell, and I'm here to talk about some Black media. That's right. Supacell is the #2 movie on Netflix at this moment, and I am dying to talk about it, and I needed some pros. I told them we were talking about episode 1, but they hard-headed, and they watched the whole series twice because they're disrespectful. So back again with me to podcast. It's my pleasure again to introduce Jazz and Jason from the Was It Good Though podcast. Welcome back, y'all.
Thank you so much for having us. I don't know why you call us hard headed though. Like, dang.
I mean, you had one job.
I mean, she wanted to finish the job. You know, when you get to it, she was like, "Oh, it's more I can do. Let me keep doing that. I just want to, just be prepared." She want to we were overachieving for the position that we had today.
And look, and I appreciate that. I do. And I appreciate y'all being here. Again, this is Recap Kickback, where we're going to talk about this entire show, episode 1 only. But then, because my guests have gone above and beyond, at the end of the podcast, we're going to save a little spot for some spoilers. I'll make sure to give a good disclaimer. So you're free to tap out when that time comes if you don't want to hear about the rest of the series. But right now, we're only going to talk about episode 1 before we get into the recap. Obviously, make sure you're subscribed and like the podcast on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. recapkickback.com/subscribe to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And of course, check out the YouTube channel. A lot of community has been forming around our House of the Dragon coverage here on Recap Kickback. Mari and I are covering it every week. Every Monday, you should have a recap of that show out, but we're still dropping other content. The Black content is still out there too. We just covered the BET Awards. We have a documentary about Black Barbie that we've discussed with Gia and Latanya that should be out soon. So if you're keeping up with everything, good job. Make sure you share the podcast and stay tuned because we got a lot of more content coming your way. That said, Supacell. Y'all, I saw the preview. And Jazz, I'll start with you. Did you know this was coming to Netflix? Like, were you aware of the premise and all that stuff before you watched it?
So I feel like this was one of those trailers that in our Discord, Jason normally drops the link. And I was just like, oh, let me check the trailer out. I was like, oh, Black superheroes. Okay. But it wasn't like at the forefront of my mind of like, oh, let me keep a lookout. And then I saw that it hit Netflix and I was just like, I'm getting ready to go out, bruh's in town, whatever. And I was like, let me just check out episode 1. And
who was in town? Hold on. Who?
Supacell. The bruhs. Some of them
the
probably Supacell in them. I don't know. But I pretty much was able to get through the entire series in one day. And I was upset because I said I did not mean to do this. But I was just hooked after episode 1. And so made a reaction video, hit the group chat, was like, y'all started watching this because I need somebody to talk to. Nobody has seen it yet or started. I was like, dang. But
okay. Well, I was watching it. I seen episode 1, and then I, of course, reached out to y'all because I said I need somebody to talk to because we got to talk about the craziness that happened in this episode before I go on to talk about the rest of the series eventually, or maybe I won't. We'll see. But I definitely wanted to talk about it with y'all for sure. It's the story of 5 ordinary South discover that they have extraordinary powers, and they happen to be Black too. Jason, we don't get a lot of Black superhero content, so this was something I knew we was gonna jump on.
Man, we don't. I was literally thinking as I was watching it. Flash, they gave us Wally West in the show, and then you had Black Lightning, which was a predominantly Black show in the DC universe. So it meshed with it. But as far as this type of content, like I really enjoyed it because it was an original idea, and one of the themes within the show, which I grew up with somebody that had sickle cell, but I never really knew the severity of it. Like it was never explained. It was just with the student in class, we had to handle her a little bit differently because of the sickle cell. But then I was watching Ghost, and they brought up there was not a panel, but it was a conversation about sickle cell in there, and I was like, dang, that's interesting that the Black shows are talking about something that predominantly messes with our bloodline. So it was real dope, and this is a unique twist on the sickle cell, on sickle cell.
Yeah. So this was created, directed, screenplay written by a British rapper, record producer, screenwriter, and film director, Rap Man. I'm gonna get in front of this right now. I just don't. I think you know where I'm going. I just don't do the British rap. This might be my favorite thing a British rapper has ever done. It ain't for me. But I came in open-minded. I said, let's see what these British black folks is talking about. And I enjoyed it too. I really did. I liked the first episode. It was very interesting. It was different than what we've seen. And although it was British, there was it was very black. You know what I'm saying? Like even some of the themes felt a little like, I won't say stereotypical, but they definitely hit close to home. There was a British baby mama drama going on, a British dude selling trash weed. It was a lot. Even across the pond, drug dealers ain't shit. Because when I tell you, I saw this man, how you a drug dealer and you ain't got no car? Sir, you getting on the bus? Okay, cool.
Hey,
but
you gotta get it off. You gotta get it off, man. You're gonna figure it out.
You gonna have to. And so I was watching this and I was really enjoying it, but there's so much to get into it. So I want to just go through the plot a little bit. Throughout this first episode, we'll meet our main characters, the super people, the Supacells, I will call them for now. And we really start off by first getting a glimpse of what they're doing to seemingly the black people who might have these powers. They're in like a bunker of sorts. We see a woman trying to escape. She uses her powers. It's the first time we see it. Her eyes light up. She has some telekinetic power. She gets ready to burst out. And then they shoot this lady right in the middle of her forehead. Point blank, dead right then and there. And immediately, Jazz, I knew, okay, I'm in it. I think they got my attention.
Yeah, they definitely start off early with the violence. And when I started watching it, I wasn't expecting that. Because my first thought when this came on, I immediately went to They Clone Tyrone, which dropped last year, also on Netflix, because you had the black folks that were in like a underground bunker as well. So I was just like, okay, so are they doing kind of experiments on black people? I see this woman trying to leave, and like you just mentioned, they kill her. So then it's one of them situations where y'all didn't tranquilize her at all. So y'all are killing the people that you have locked in that space. And so I was curious if her character reference to that was going to come back, or was it just let's go ahead and grab the audience's attention. And I love how the story was able to progress and kind of come back to that.
Yeah, and Jason, they dragged her lifeless body down the hallway, just covered in blood for all the black folks to see. It was one of those, like, we're making an example of this lady to make sure the rest of y'all don't try nothing crazy.
Yeah. A lot of situations I felt was like that, but it was very on the nose with, how the government is. I know Jazz mentioned They Clone Tyrone, but I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a common theme in all black, like when it comes to like black hero stuff, but I mean in Black Lightning, it was a similar situation like that as well, where they take those super powered humans and typically they're trying to use the powers for whatever they're looking for that power for. They also want to know, why was this power given to someone of this gene? Like, there's no one else that has. Why are they getting this special type of ability? So it was definitely my mouth to drop. Just watching them drag the body and how much blood was coming from the body. I'm like, oh, they finna get into it. Like they really about to get into it in the show, and I appreciated them for everything they showed, and how they showed how they got to those details and the little bit of details they brought back up.
Yeah, so we have to get into the cast because the main 5 heroes are going to be pretty much driving the storyline. The first person we meet is Michael, played by Tosin Cole. So I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this. I only really know like one of the people from this cast from something else, and we'll get to him shortly. But Michael's character, he pulls up on this woman, turns out to be his girlfriend. They're doing like a little role play or something, like, hey boo, where you going? You want to get in my convertible? Blah blah. I was distracted by the fact that they was driving on the wrong side of the road. I said it. Yeah. I know this is a British show, but when she went to the wrong side, Jason, girl, where you going? I thought you wanted to drive.
You know what?
Like, how you a passenger princess in the driver's seat? I'm really trying to understand. And so
y'all gotta do better.
Look, I have been across the pond, and even then, I was like, "What? Why y'all going the wrong direction?" Like you have to excuse my Americanism. issuesness, because sometimes it just catches me off guard. But this was fun. He meets his girlfriend. We see them talking. It's very clear that, he's going to be proposing soon. But there are some funny moments that are going to happen to Michael very quickly because Michael, I don't know what he did to piss the universe off, but eventually he will get poked up in this episode. He's gonna get stabbed, and we're gonna find out that his superpower is this is where I have a question for y'all. We really don't know what his power is by this point. We see him kind of have like a premonition of himself getting stabbed, and then he replays the moment, and then he survives the moment because he acts a little bit differently. So it felt like he either is like able to see the future, or maybe he can go back in time. Jazz, what did you make of this?
Man, I was at first in that scene, I was just like, I know y'all not pulling the thrones on us and killing the person that we following the whole time. Like, what's happening with that? But then when we see him actually replay that moment, and he didn't even make too many different adjustments. And so you see how small something can change something major to where you had Taser was just like, yo, look, leave him alone. And then it's just like, oh, okay, so you're able to get home now. You handle that situation differently. And so, which kind of makes you think further in the series, you're just like, okay, so something small can change the grand scheme. And so I love how this series does that, because I'm a big fan of like time travel, anything, whether it's a movie or a TV show. So
yeah, before we even get to him getting poked up, we see Michael go and he talks to his mom, and she's the one who we see will have the sickle cell, and he's trying to get her put into a facility, like it sounds like almost like a assisted living facility or something. They talk about, oh, we got the best opioids. When you start feeling pain, we're gonna go ahead and jump on top of that. We doing other stuff here. And I don't know. Like I said, y'all have seen the whole thing. I only saw the first episode, but even in that moment, I was thinking something ain't right. Something is wrong, because why you got the special sickle cell place that only this woman has access to? And I was concerned that maybe something might be dealing with, those other people that we saw in the beginning, the woman who got shot, the other Black people. Maybe that had something to do with the sickle cell. And I'm sure they get into more of that later on, Jason.
So honestly, it's just a plot device, because because if you're paying attention to the story, it's just letting you know how many different people has sickle cell. That's pretty much all it was doing. Spoiler alert, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't too much with that storyline outside of giving Michael something outside of Dion to do, but it also explained where these things are coming from as well.
Yeah, he proposes to Dion in this episode, but not before he is working, and he goes to drop off a package. And in this moment, we see that, Black men are faithful in Britain as well, Jazz. This lady is completely throwing it. It might be the lady from Baby Boy, but she's throwing it at him. She's British now. And she like, you want to come inside? It's 9 a.m., Jazz. What does she want this man to drop off a package for inside her house at 9 a.m.?
Wait, first off, that is crazy. You do, I get it, because I know the woman here, but like,
oh yeah, we're gonna pick on you today.
Right. Look, I just think sis saw somebody who she was interested in, and she was just like, let me go ahead and shoot my shot, because I don't know if he's gonna come back and deliver a package. So she was just trying to see, testing the water. She saw him attractive, and she was feeling herself that morning. She was just like, is there anything else you need?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
he's faithful to his wife as per usual, and so he left to go back and propose. And then this woman had the nerve to be like, "I bet he gay. It's 9 a.m, lady. What do you want? What are you doing? It's 9 a.m. He at work. He in his uniform."
Chappell, let's be for real.
If he was single though, I'm
like, Chappell, let's be for real for a second. Like, men don't have it's too early for that.
But he was on the clock too, man. Y'all just go sacrifice his job for this British lady.
Again, what does that mean? Because men be having that energy at 5 o'clock in the morning. You laughing because you're just like, damn, I
wake up with that type of energy. I'd be dead to the world. Like, what? We doing what?
On the clock, clock, Jason? On the clock?
If I can get it on the clock, you're right. Yes. That's exciting.
she wanted him to deliver a different package, but the package he did deliver, it went to her roommate, whose name is Sabrina. We'll see that Sabrina is a nurse. And so, yeah, very quickly on, we see a lot of their lives are overlapping. Sabrina, however, she got her a boyfriend, and he is not exactly faithful. He leaves her hanging at some point. We cannot find him. Her homegirl's like, he trash. He probably between some dirty gal's legs or something like that. I don't know what the British people say. And they end up rolling up on him. And Jason, to me, this is one of the funniest moments of the first episode because they go to this man's house. They knock on the door. Because he says, I'm busy. I'm not home. I got stuff going on. I can't come outside, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So you go knock on the door. The new chick, the side chick opens the door. She said, oh, I've known him for 2 months. She's like, well, I know him. I've been dating him for 9 months. Like, ooh, that's tough. He come outside and his first question, he look at Sabrina and say, why'd you pop up over here? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, nah, he could have been a little quicker, a little sharper on his toes. And why is she answering my door? Secondly,
why is she opening the door?
Why are you opening my door? Like he was a bit too comfortable, so he had to get caught. But Chappell, at that moment, did you realize that Sabrina wasn't Dion?
Oh, so you know, Dion and Sabrina, I was getting them both mixed up throughout. I didn't go hold you because here's the thing: what the show doesn't do well, they don't tell you their names. You have to pick up their names in conversation. They're not like, oh, hi, I'm Sabrina. I was like, all right, let me go see what this lady's name is because I heard her as Nurse Bay in my notes, and So it took me a second to get there, but this is Sabrina and Dion. Dion got a good man, she chilling. Sabrina, on the other hand, she does not, and Jazz, she assaults this man with her powers. We see her eyes glowing, and the next thing you know, boom, he flying up against the wall. I was like, you're going to jail, lady. You're going to jail.
I mean, it was an accident. Now she shouldn't have put hands on him. Powers, you don't know how to. It's something new. You know what I mean? She scared herself and she wanted to make sure he was good. But she probably heard for so many years, black men don't cheat. And then she finds her black man.
She was shocked. Look, a lot of weird stuff is happening right now. We getting superpowers, black men cheating. The world is upside down. Right. And this is the first time a lot of their powers are manifesting, right? So it's not like we are catching these people like into like years of having the powers. Apparently, something is making these powers arise in them right now, and it looks like it takes like an incident or some like extreme stress or something like that to really get them going. Because when that happens, I mean, she completely like Dark Phoenixes him to the wall, like boom, he gone. So I already know that Sabrina is not one to be messed with, or cheated on. So if you're listening to this in Britain, hey, what y'all doing over there? You're giving us a bad name.
I mean, her sister was Victoria, who was with her. She was rooting for her, so she was just like, "Girl, you did what you need to do. Let's go ahead and bounce." And I gotta make sure he was good.
And Charlene is way worse. Like Charlene is like. Her man is actually way worse. She's just looking for anybody to lay up under at this point.
See, she like Baby D sister, like hand her the brick, like, hey, we need to pull up over there. That's how it felt, because she mad about what's going on. She's like, all right, so while we sitting here talking, you sitting here crying and stuff, we could just go to his house. I said, oh, okay. This is British, but it feels very American. It feels very like I've seen this before on TV. Obviously, not my life.
Been in that situation before.
Oh. What happened?
I was out in the club. I don't know. I think I told my ex. Maybe I didn't tell my ex. I don't know. But when I leave, I'm like, I got 2 tires flat, and I got 2 tires flat, and my spares flat because I had a little RAV4, so we had on the back of the car. I'm like, damn.
They got the bonus tire too.
They got the bonus tire to ensure I can't move. So it ends up coming out, And to this day, yes, I'm still holding that grudge against Shorty that hyped her up to get her out there to do that. Like,
Oh yeah.
and I'm praying on her marriage downfall right now. I hope it ends. I hope he cheat on you with somebody. I don't care. I know I'm a terrible person, but fuck, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm gonna go. Just send me her information. I'm gonna go like a bunch of that Instagram pictures and see if I can at least get some drama going in that house, because you can't just go ruining people's property. Yeah, just put some hard eyes in the comments like I know her in real life or something, just to get the conversation going, Jazz. Because you gotta send this woman to prison. She's destroying his property. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I was 19. I was upset as hell.
But what pushed her to that?
See,
that is the question.
You victim blaming. He the victim. Jason is the victim.
Oh,
she.
But hold on. Is he? Because depending on what could have happened, she might have felt victimized, and so she had a friend that was like, "Nah, we're not taking the 2 years to heal over this. Let's go ahead and do some damage today."
See, and we not mad at her. We mad at the friend. So let's just keep it a buck. The friend is whose marriage we gonna ruin, not hers. And that's okay. You know, like, listen, what goes around comes around. It happens, and we'll come back to that later on, I'm sure. Elsewhere, we've mentioned Taser. Taser is seemingly a gang member, y'all. I don't think I've laughed this hard in the year of our Lord 2024. Let me set the stage for you. We see Taser and his gang members, his friends. They are all at the party. They like, West London, where you at? South London, what's up? And I'm thinking, okay, I'm assuming this is the black areas. Cool. All right, bet. So we having a house party. It's popping. There's some British rap going on in the background. Ed Sheeran, 21 Savage, something like that. I don't know. And so while it's happening, we kind of get a record scratch. The guests have come. There are people knocking at the door, and it is the ops. Apparently, this woman inside the party, Veronica, she went ahead and texted them and said, "Hey, just so y'all know, y'all ops is here. Pull up." So we have the rival gang outside knocking on the door, hollering about these people being the wettest youths or whatever that means. I was Jason. Did you follow all the British slang? Because what do they mean? The wettest youths?
Yeah.
Like pussy dudes.
So I'm like, basically, like, it's, you know, I'm still learning. I watched a clip of them explaining what a lot of these words mean before I even got into the show. I'm still confused on some stuff, but some stuff like the youths, you know, I know them, the young kids, you know, the young guys on the block, you know, and they all have this unique where they suck the teeth. Everybody has a different version of it, but most people do it. So it's like, I'm curious to, like, when they were slave trading, like, I'm assuming British was like, they went there first, because like they still super Jamaican, you know, they say accent, African accent for the people that's down in South London over there.
It's very Caribbean. It's very Caribbean for sure. The party seemed like it would have been live too, but it gets broken up by the rival gang. They knocking on the door. Jazz, let's go on a journey. They knocking. They got the haters outside. They looking out the window. What we gonna do? Taser, should we go outside? Man, I don't know, man. It's dangerous. There's a bunch of them outside, man. I ain't scared. I ain't no punk. Let's go. He comes out of the house. He reaches into his pants, into the waistband of his pants. I'm like, oh, he finna let the chopper say he finna light them up. And he unsheaths a knife. I said, sir, what are you gonna do with that? and then to make matters worse, he pulled out a knife. I see they got bats and bottles and pitchforks. What? I thought it was about to get hot out here. They got tiki torches. What is this? Is this British gangbanging?
It's against the gun laws over there are super strict. So if somebody pulling a gun, they really about their life at that point. But I used to have it, but there's a video of the gangs fighting over there, but it was white people. Their gangs was fighting. And everybody had Jason and Freddy Krueger type knives out there fighting each other. I'm like, y'all not fighting, y'all are dueling at this point. Y'all trying to take it back to the Game of Thrones. Like, why are y'all doing this? Like, put it down, let it go.
I swear I saw a bat, like a crowbar. I was like, they finna have a rumble out there. I thought y'all thought this was gang violence, Jazz. Hey, man, it's to colonize everybody else. Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, man. knew we was about to start shooting. I said, "Oh, you talking about pistol play? Let's go!" He pulled out that kitchen knife. I said, "All right." And so Taser gets stabbed. He gets sliced up right then, and his homeboys run off and leave him for dead.
Man.
I would too.
I mean, they really had no choice.
I mean, nah, that's true.
It may if you continue watching him doing that makes sense, but in the moment, nah, it was dumb as hell.
It was so dumb. And then the homies go pull up on him at the hospital too, because he's getting patched up. They come to the desk. Sabrina's working at the desk, and they immediately, it's a gang. It's literally a gang. Walks in and says, "Hey, can you show me where Taser is?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, he back there." I said, "This is not secure. This is like, what are we doing here? You just gonna let the gang go into ER? Just yeah, you can go. You got it."
But she may have thought, since now, possibly not in America, I still would have tried. It was like, nah, y'all can't go back there. But since they knew his real name, she might be like, oh, they might be his other gang member friends with him, to where I guess it's not too much of a threat.
Right.
And that's something, because Chappell, you threw out that they say different, like you had to just pick up on different people's names. I like that people were known by two different names by different people. So even though somebody gets talked about, because there's scenes where people are looking for a certain person, and they'll maybe, like, Dion knew Taser's real name, but Michael knew Taser is Taser. So they were having a conversation about the same person, but they never knew. And it's things like that. Like, it's just those little really, really small details. I'm like, oh, so that's, and it lets us know, because when he said, I'm looking for Teo. And then they send them over. And I think in any hospital, they barely let the family into the room with the people. So I know they ain't just letting some random nigga off the street trying to holler at me go into the room.
Actually, it depends on what part of the hospital they're in. It depends on what part of the hospital, because then you can just ask a nurse, like, "Hey, I'm trying to find this person," and then they're like, "Oh, they down there." Like, I've never went to the hospital to where I had to show ID. So,
see, recently I don't know if that's like a post-COVID world type situation, but I remember in the old days where you could just walk down the halls. You could go look at the babies in the little, through the little window if you wanted to, just wander in the hallway.
That needs to have security, because people be snatching up kids like it ain't nobody's business.
Yeah, and sometimes they ain't even got good vibes. Like, why are you doing that? Anyway, so they go in there to visit Taser, and Taser getting patched up, but the babies don't be having good vibes. So everybody don't got good vibes, Jad. Yeah, sometimes you can't just take a kid at face value. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. They're a kid, but you don't know, that might be a sociopath in the future. They might be a sociopath now, and they just can't form words yet. You don't know. I'm just saying, after kids. Anyway, they go visit Taser, and immediately his gang homies, they're not happy. They're like, "All right, you know what, Taser, my bad, we left you hanging, but next time if you jamming, I'm jamming. We die together." And one homeboy is like, "What? Die? Who said that?" I don't understand how y'all all gonna die together in a knife fight. At some point, cooler heads have to prevail. Just walk off at some point.
I imagine when you sign up. I imagine when you sign up for military, you kind of like, if you're about to be a fighter, you kind of saying, "I'm cool with dying here." Like, it's you know what I'm saying. That's what I feel like. But like the little short guy, he's like, "Man, hold on, wait. I'm not trying to die out here doing this."
They can't be banging that hard because they got household items and hardware as weaponry. It's like, it's not like, we see them poke up Michael at some point, but they was just trying to stop him from doing his job and got into a skirmish. This was not like these are. I think at face value, they not even that threatening. That's why they let them in that hospital. She's like, "Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing. What he gonna do with that crowbar? He all right." So I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the British gang, Jazz. Are you from have you ever seen this before?
So I've seen the series Top Boy. And so you had some British gangs over there. They were a lot more threatening than what we see here, but they were also older as well. So I mean, if you can't be walking around here like not a high level threatening if you 35 in a gang. Like, come on, I need you to have some bodies.
Yeah, if you that old in the game, you have to be like low key retired. Like you already did all your dirt when you was in your 20s, and now you just resting on your name. You really can't still be out in the streets with your crowbar and your bat and your Molotov cocktails and stuff. I don't know whatever they're doing over there is wild. It just is. Have y'all ever seen the Italian trap music?
Mm-mm. I haven't.
Oh, you want to see a spectacle? Oh, I'll make sure to send y'all that, and I'll put the link in the show notes because you want to see some people who should not be trapping the way they are. Look no further than the Italians, but that's a story for another time. Trust me on this one; it will blow your mind. So we have Taser, we have Sabrina, we have Michael, and we haven't really talked about the drug dealer. We don't get a lot from him in the first episode of Supacell. His name is Rodney, and he is just awful. He's not a good drug dealer. He's trying his best to sell, but he ain't got, I don't know if the quality's not good. He just going up to the wrong people, but he cannot push this. At one point, he said he had Cali Kush, and I was like, oh, well, it's pretty basic. And then I thought, oh, in British, is that like exotic over there? Like that's like, oh, that's from overseas. They got the good stuff.
Is an American girl exotic in the UK?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Which one is it? You know what I'm saying? When you go over there, you're like, Cali, like California, where'd you get that? So I thought he had premium products maybe, but then I realized, no, he's not a good drug dealer. His car broke down. The one client that he has that made a call, he wasn't able to get to him. And so he decides to run after the bus and try to get on the bus. At first, he was like, I can't catch the bus. This stuff too loud. He said, hey, I got that fire, bro. I can't just get on the bus with this. But he about to miss out on his money. So, Jazz, he takes off running and runs straight to Scotland. And that's when we find out about his powers. Yeah,
I thought his was interesting because you see the way that it got activated was not in a position where he felt like his life was threatened. Kind of like what you saw with Michael and Sabrina.
And even Sabrina to an extent,
he was just trying to rush and get somewhere, and then he just went straight flash. So I was just like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And he didn't know what was going on. But like his drug selling abilities, wrong place, wrong time. You got people having a serious conversation, and you over here just like, I see you stressed. You want to buy some of this? Like, sir, come on.
And he's extremely fast. He went from London to Scotland to like Edinburgh, in split second. It's like a 7-hour drive roughly. So he's doing a lot like in a short amount of time. It'd take him 139 hours to walk there if he was just walking. You know what I'm saying? Like that's about how long it would take. He ran there in a split second. So I'm like, okay, he's super fast. But again, I don't know why he has a power at this point. I don't know, because like his power, like you said, it wasn't coming from him like a necessity. It was definitely necessary for him to make some money, but it wasn't like his life was in danger like we had seen the other people, or the other people were being attacked. Sabrina was getting attacked. Michael had been stabbed. And so when their eyes light up, I'm like, okay, cool. It's doing that to save their lives. But Jason, this just seemed like he just was running errands and then literally just started running.
So because it's not really explained what triggers the power, but I do feel, because just be fair, the first time Michael uses power, it was the premonition where he's seen himself. But the second time he used it, we forgot, after the engagement, which I never thought about engagement sex. Have y'all ever thought about that?
Never been engaged, so it never came up,
I never thought that must be a secret between the married people. They don't talk about that one. You talk about makeup, the breakup, the love, and you talk about, but I never heard about engagement sex. And that was one time I thought about it, but it was so good to Michael, it sent him to the future.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Jason, because you see in this scene, Dion opened her eyes. So Jason has admitted to say he kisses with his eyes closed or his eyes open, which is weird as fuck. So Dion opened hers up and she see Michael's eyes changing, which kills the vibes. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, keep your eyes closed so the vibes aren't killed.
But imagine this man is it, Jazz. Imagine you on the wall with the bros.
Wait, you had an S at the bottom you had an S on there, Jason. You got
the bruh.
Oh, it's just,
it's a Z.
It's exactly, and it's kind of crazy to be talking about like it's plural, but it's not talking about multiple J's. Come on, we bruh.
Look, Yeah, I gotta
You
say,
on the
I don't
wall.
need nobody hitting my DMs like, so what's up?
So,
Yeah.
So
Don't want nobody
you
getting
talking,
confused.
so you talking to them, you in the room, y'all kissing, it's getting hot and heavy, he done lifted you up. You keeping your eyes closed, you just fall out of nowhere. Bloop. You like, oh, what the fuck? You see what I'm saying? See now I look like a smart person because I watched this person look at me disappear in front of me. But you confused as to why you just hit the ground. Like you was in the middle of nowhere, no doors open, nothing happened, just nigga just disappeared.
I ain't gonna lie to you. If he got me hemmed up like that, I'm probably gonna fall either way. Whether my eyes get open or closed, I'm probably gonna fall either way. So I'm gonna get hurt in that. But it's just, yeah.
That engagement sex so good it activates your powers. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff you need to tell people. Because
emotion, I think it's rooted like into your like dealing with your emotions, like an emotional experience or something that triggers you. Because that's why Rodney powers got triggered. Rodney he had to deliver a sale, and dude told him if he could deliver it in a certain amount of time, he gonna make this much money. He was like, oh shit, I gotta get to it. And he was gonna miss the bus. That kind of pissed him off. And he skirted to Edinburgh, right? Edinburgh, I believe.
Yeah.
He ended up finding himself in.
Yeah. I guess it could be emotion because we see this like these big moments happen and then the powers pop up. But I have a question about Taser. He didn't have no powers pop up in this episode. I have to. Is his power just that he got knives? Because I got knives. You know, like I got guns. You know, like, I feel like if I go over to Britain, if he a superhero, that's the best y'all got. The dude with the knives. Batman got guns. You know what I'm saying?
So but technically, he has his power in episode 1. You just don't see it yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha. The other person that we haven't talked about who has some powers that we get to see this all unfold. This is who if you're watching on YouTube, you see my headline says British baby mama drama, but I mean that's basically what we have here. We have Andre. So Andre is played by Eric Kofi Abrefa, who I recognize from, I don't know if y'all watch BMF, but I'm pretty sure that's the crazy dude from BMF season 1, right?
That's Lamar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was happy to see him here. You know, these British folks, I don't know how often this gets talked about. There's probably a study done, but they transition from Britain to like American gang life so seamlessly. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw Franklin in Compton, you know, but he's British. We see Idris Elba was in The Wire. He British. How is there like something in the accent that just helps you just move seamlessly from tea and crumpets to, you know, trapping and shooting on people? Because that's literally what we've seen all these times. I had no clue that Lamar was in this. I didn't know he was British. Did y'all know?
Yeah, I did, but I kind of I watch different like UK things. But then most people, if I enjoy them in something else, I follow them. Now Michael, I knew Michael first because he was in a house party with Jacob Lattimore. He was in the remake.
Gotcha.
He sucked in it. He was in Bob Marley. He was cool, but his accent was heavy in the Bob Marley movie. So seeing him up in this is his best thing. This is the best thing I've seen him acting. I'm like, okay, this nigga can actually act. The other two wasn't reflective of him. But this is a lot better. But then, like I said, the other guy, he was in Book of Clarence, so he was able to use accent in there. But like him, but I know he can act because he was in BMF. He was the selling point of that show when it initially came out. So I've been following him same way I did with Majors prior to his issues. But I see them the new up and coming black people, because I'm always looking for the next black superstar, because we don't really have that. We have a lot of people that they stick into a certain position, but you don't have the black superstar. So
wasn't the lead from All American British as well? What's his name? Spencer?
Daniel Ezra. He's from the UK as well. Yep. The guy from Get Out, he's from the UK as well.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya is from the UK. You know, this is an election year. You know, I'm not about closing the borders. comma but. It feels like these British folks is taking our black jobs, Jazz. Is it?
So, and I recently had a conversation with a friend about this, and a lot of American actors do not like that they are getting casted in all these like American movies, but I think it's because the salary. And I've seen documentaries and different specials to where the folks from the UK, they don't ask as much as the American actors. And so that's why they probably get a lot of these positions, because I'm not sure if you watch the Hulu, I think it was Hulu or maybe Prime, The Scare, the lead actress in that series was she was in both of them, and she's also from the UK. And so when you start to see how many Black UK actors and actresses are actually in these projects, you're gonna sit up here like, damn, for real? Because you wouldn't tell, because they sell an American accent very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but they're really talented. So
yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, I was watching this and I was like, okay, but when I saw him Lamar pop up from BMF, I said, oh, okay, everybody British, gotcha. You know, like I sometimes you can tell. I do think sometimes, you know, depending on who the actor is, that you can definitely kind of hear maybe some of the British influence, but like Damson Idris for sure. Like when he's Franklin, I can't really hear it, but he was in oh wow, man, the movie with Chloe. I mean, the show with Chloe. It was about the Hive, not the Hive. It's about the Stands. The Swarm.
The Swarm.
He was in Swarm. Yeah. Yes, and he started talking, but he was supposed to have a Houston accent. I said, there it is. It's not quite. It's not quite doing what you needed to do. So every now and then they slip it in, but you're not wrong, Jazz. A lot of them are just killing the game. And you can't be mad at. I mean, I guess you can, but whatever. What you saying?
I mean, I guess I also want to add Jacob Anderson, who is in Interview with the Vampire season 1 and 2, also played Grey Worm in Game of Thrones. He's a British actor. Amazing. So I just feel like the stuff that they bring to these roles.
Yeah,
because I would support my American actors.
Because he is playing a New Orleans actor in there, right?
Like he got like a Creole accent or something. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't even think about it until I saw Lamar pop up, and I was like, man, okay, it must be hard over here for these black actors. These are African American ones, I guess I'll say. But you know,
I've seen a few speak on it. They think about it like they're hiring a white person in a black role. Like it's not an American black as far, and like John Boyega, that's another one.
Yeah, it's another one.
Yeah, so
man, they're big names. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this one though. I might have to sit with this a little bit. Dang, you named John Boyega too. I was like, God dang, everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Because these people that you like, you be like, but I don't want to take my people's job, but damn, you do a good job.
You do a good job. You got to go with the quality at some point. Hopefully that starts to change, and a lot more of our black actors here in America start getting some good roles too. What happened, Jason?
I would say the two people from Lashana Lynch, she from the UK, and you got my guy. He played Malcolm X, I believe. He played Malcolm X.
Kingsley,
Kingsley Benedict. He's from the UK as well, and he's doing some crazy roles.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I ain't gonna lie to you. Woo, it's not looking good, y'all.
My top 20 upcoming favorite actors is looking a lot less American.
Paperboy is from America though.
Yeah, he is, but he doing a good British accent when he
played a UK guy.
It's true. He did it. He's trying to look. We trying to get over there. Now he didn't broke the glass ceiling. Now we can be British too. Okay, go Paperboy. Speaking of Paperboy, in this episode, Deadbeat Daddy Andre, he takes his kid to Nando's, and I was like, when was the last time I seen Nando's on TV? It was on Atlanta. That when they was in London. Nando's must be the Popeyes of London. You know, like this black folks always go in there because this is twice that's happened. And I've never been to Nando's.
I went. I went a couple of years. I went to DC a couple of years ago, and I tried Nando's. Yeah, it's
how
hot.
was it?
It's not. It's nothing to rave about. It's just chicken. And it's like it's like a baked chicken. They season it a certain way.
Okay. Well, they back at Nando's again, and apparently Andre down bad. I don't know if they have child support over in Britain, but they should because this man's paid $150 to his baby mama in the last 3 months. $150 total. Um, that's not moving the needle, Jazz. It's feeling like Andre he down bad.
Yeah, it was his story is very unfortunate because you see him trying, but of
Mm-hmm.
course, during his years of being a youth, got into some
Mm-hmm.
trouble, got a record, which obviously is blocking a lot of things when jobs do background checks. I don't
Yeah.
have in my notes of exactly what they call it over there, but when we come to find out what happened with his job situation, he spazzes out a little bit. But yeah, his story was very unfortunate.
Yeah, so he goes to get a job because he wants to take care of his kid. I call him a deadbeat, but I'm joking. He's trying. He's trying his best. He goes to get a job. His homeboy hooks him up with a job, and he's killing it at work. He's got his
Yeah,
customer service voice on. He's code switching. That's always fun. He's doing. You can tell when you dealing with a person who does customer service a lot because they'll get you to try to buy something else on your way out. So you're like, oh yeah, you can
hmm
get a couple of those too. And the guy on the phone, you could tell they vibing. He's good to go. He's loving it. He's fired within the next 10 minutes because they've done a DBS, which is a background check essentially, and they found out that he got a record, and so he's now fired. And he also is supposed to be taking care of his kid, buying his son a bunch of stuff. We'll see later on. He ends up going to the ATM, and I think he had like negative $3-ish and some change.
yeah. Wasn't nothing coming out
Yeah,
that machine. Not with his number anyway.
yeah, not with his PIN number, but when he got mad enough, he punched a hole in the ATM. Money started flying out. Yeah, I wanted him to not pick up the money, and I know that sounds wild, but every ATM got a camera. Every last one of
Everyone.
them.
Yeah.
Every last one of them got a camera. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. You're not
Yeah.
going to get away with this. It's not worth it.
Nope.
It's literally not worth it. Leave the money. Leave the money. I know it's hard,
He going
but
to jail if he going to jail for breaking it. So you might.
I think you could get away with breaking it, but you can't.
Yeah.
If they think you stole the money, they just go.
I thought
That's
Ain't no thing. They got you in 4K stealing that money.
I keep
Candid
thinking
camera.
that the ATMs are empty. Was it just on barbershop? It was
That one time they hadn't
it
put
was
no
a
money
brand-
in it yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it was. I'm like, every time I'm like, why are y'all stealing ATMs? Ain't nothing in there.
I'm the same way. I seen was that barbershop too. Like after the second barbershop, you should know you can't break into no ATM. We already watched that happen on that movie. But yeah, apparently they have money inside of them. Obviously, I mean the money got to come from somewhere. It's inside the machine. He has so much super strength that he broke the machine in half. The money car flying out, and he'll make up the last one of our Supacell 5. Our Avengers. And so we have Sabrina, who looks like she has some type of telekinesis. I think she can fly. We'll see in the future, little vision. We'll see that Rodney runs fast, which to me, that's always been a mid power. Super speed it by itself. No other stuff is cool. Like, the Flash, he can speed up his molecules, walk through walls, all that kind of stuff. But just the ability to run fast.
Rodney he got other powers. You got to get into the show.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And so, we got dude who run fast. The woman can fly. She's got power. I saw some electricity going. I see Sabrina was doing the most. We don't know what Taser does, but he does have knives. And then we have Michael, who it seems like at least can travel through time to some extent, and maybe can see the future a little bit. And I think that makes up everybody. That's everybody, because Andre has the super strength. So that's our starting 5. We're led to believe that they are going to have to fight something and stop maybe Michael's his fiance from dying. We'll find out that she does not. They never get married, I don't think, because after he proposes, shortly after, something happens. She dies, and then we need this team to fight against somebody. We just don't know, because the episode will end before we find out. So that's how episode 1 is. It really sets the tone for what we're probably going to get in the rest of the season. It lets you know who the main characters are. It kind of outlines what their powers are. So moving forward, you can kind of track it. And then it still leaves you wanting more. So I really enjoyed it as a premiere. But y'all saw the entire show multiple times because, again, y'all don't respect me. And, and because of that, I do want y'all to take me through some of the bigger moments of the series. So if you are listening to this and you do not want to be spoiled, you want to watch Supacell on your own, this is your time to tap out. Thank y'all for being here for Recap Kickback. You know, check out all the content. Make sure you subscribe and you'll see what we have coming next week. But if you want to stick around to hear me find out about some of these spoilers, we'll start that in about 3 seconds. So here's your chance to tap out. The spoiler section is happening now. All right, y'all. First question. What is Taser's power? Because knives can't be it.
He can go invisible, but he knew how to do it prior to the party, and that's the reason he didn't run, because he was gonna go invisible and fight them. But he couldn't. So
because I'm confused. His plan was in front of all these people to walk out the party door, walk over with the knife, and then disappear.
Yep.
In front of everybody.
I think episode 2 is about Taser, right?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
He lets one of his homeboys know exactly what was going on. So
and they was looking at him like how I'm looking at him now, right? Like they was confused too, because I'm confused.
Nah, he just did.
Yeah. Trying to hide the powers is not a thing in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's one of the things where it's just like, if you got powers, it's like, you might want to be cautious just in case if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many people was cautious with it.
And what triggers it is them having interactions with each other by mistake. That's what triggered it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got action because we saw Andre was having a horrible day. He just got fired from work, and then Raggedy Rodney showed up trying to sell him some weed. And so, we also saw Taser was in the hospital, but Sabrina worked at the hospital at the same time. Taser poked up Michael. Michael was, so it's so many. Michael had went and seen Sabrina at her crib. So yeah, you see a lot of these moments where they're kind of overlapping. And so just them coming together is enough to get the powers going.
Yeah. And Rodney also seen Michael. He tried to sell him some weed and he took his phone number. He deleted it.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you could tell. Look, I'm not that I have those contacts in my phone, but you could kind of tell Rodney didn't know what he was doing. I was like, hey, bro, you go through the motions. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna lock you in, dog. No, I got you straight up. No, send me the menu, and then you just move on.
I think Rodney has one of the better storylines of the crew. When you actually get into it, like it's not the typical one, but it's one that works for who his character is.
Okay. And so Jazz, tell me about the rest of his powers, because run fast. That's
Rodney, it. He runs fast and he has super fast healing. He's able to heal anytime when you get hurt. So, but that I'm assuming will come in handy at some point when they fighting. Yeah.
But we don't know.
Other people had it too.
But... oh God, not one of those shows. We saw some people with hoodies on, that look like they might have been like the other version of the Supacell people. Are these people also these hooded figures? They also have powers. Are they black?
They black.
They black
and
they got powers. Okay, cool. So we ain't the only ones out here. Bet. See, y'all got my attention now. I like this. Let's do more Q&A, please. Okay. Sabrina homegirl. What's her name? That's her sister.
That's her sister.
Okay. Yeah. The thirsty one. Does she end up getting powers as well?
Not this season, at least.
Not this season. Okay. Look. You have my attention. I like this. Okay. We also saw that Taser, one of the things that was slowing him down in episode 1 was that his mom has left. We saw him talking to his who I have to assume this is a Nigerian granny, because I thought she was eating fufu with her hands. I was like, listen, I know this lady already. I know her in real life. It just really spoke to me. And so his mom left, but his mom was one of the people we saw in that bunker, right? Was she one of the people that was murdered by whoever this is that's keeping the black people down there?
His mama was the first person that got murdered in the series.
Yeah.
He has
a picture of her in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that because Dion knows them, but she doesn't know Michael knows.
Right.
They go by 2 different names, so they're having it. That's where the issue comes from the communication with Michael is where, but I understand why they made him that way to keep you drawn to that.
Yeah, and then we don't really see a lot from Dion. We know she dies in this season. At least she's we see her grave. But you know, the Michael storyline is largely going to be like he seems like he's the main character, right? Like they move him kind of to the future and outline it, but he was at least the main character of the first episode. I think it's even named after him, Michael. So I think it might be one of those. Is this one of these series where each episode kind of is dedicated to somebody else?
It switches perspective whenever they go to a new episode. It's mainly about that person, but the story of the other people is still playing in the background, and they still run across each other. They just don't know each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Chappell, I definitely want to ask your opinion from this first episode when you see our main five crossing each other's paths. Like, did you like the flow of how that was showing in the first episode?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool because again, it felt natural. Like it wasn't like it was forced. It just happened. You just happened to be in the same area. You know, Michael's delivering packages, so of course he went and he was going to drop off a package. Now, Taser and them basically being a gang that just picks on UPS drivers to make a little money. That's weird to me. You know, but aside from that, everybody else felt really. You know, when he went to Sabrina's house. Sabrina didn't even come to the door at first. It was her homegirl, you know, her sister. And so, you know, like it didn't feel like they were forcing them into each other's area. So I did like it because had y'all not just told me, I'm telling you, had y'all not just told me that, you know, they had to come across each other for the power to work, I would have never guessed that because you kind of forget how quickly they move through each other's lives. So I'm hoping that that's a big thing in season 2 as well. If there is a season 2, have y'all heard anything about a season 2 coming?
Man,
I haven't seen anything, but they're just pushing like, okay, this is top series being shown. Everybody's watching it. But has a good grade on Rotten Tomatoes and all of that. And I'm just like, all right, Netflix, go ahead and
double up. Stop playing.
Right.
It'd be prolonging.
You know how they, first of all, you know how Netflix like to do, and then second off, you know how they like to do black shows. A lot of black shows do not get renewed. They don't get the attention that they deserve. They get like viewership, but you know, when it comes to like prestige television, a lot of times black people do not get the credit that is due. You know, I interviewed the showrunner of Act Your Age that's on Netflix right now, and they're trying to get a season 2. You know, and everybody was talking about Act Your Age for a little bit. I mean, it was in top 5, 10 on Netflix as well. I think it got up to top 3 on Netflix, and they're fighting for a season 2. So I'm hoping Supacell would come back. But explain this to me like I'm 5. What does sickle cell have to do with these people's powers?
Okay. So basically, the people that were in South London. And the parents had sickle cell, so they end up passing it to the next kid. Like they passed it, but they didn't develop sickle cell, and it gave them that special strain. So whenever they come across each other, it activates whatever that strain is because it went down. Now, I don't know if it was something that they were given or taking, but they were all from the same place. So everybody was in South London. So I don't know the significance of the importance of that because you kind of, as you start listening to it, everybody keeps saying it. Oh, it was my parent. It was my parent. It was my parent. Either they don't know the other parent or they didn't know this was something that the people had. Now, I think the only person you really know that knows about it is Michael, first episode. But then as you start going down, as they start telling their backstory in their episode, then you kind of hear about it. I think Rodney's the one we don't hear about, but we have to assume it's the parent that he doesn't know, or at least he doesn't know in that episode. Which, like I said, that's why I was like with Rodney's story. I dealt with that personally. That's why I was like, it's a unique thing where, you know, of a biracial kid, which you see now, like the different people. So and like as far as with that story, them having, you know, everybody being a black kid. It was just dope, and how they go with different situations of trauma or even sexual assault. Like they go into every different topic with each person. So
Have y'all been seeing a lot of online conversation about Supacell? Is this something that you feel like it's like picking up speed? Because I think it's still number one on Netflix, but no, it's number two on Netflix. So it's actually falling off just a little bit. But you know, Netflix algorithm is weird. They decide when they want something to be in the top 10. They just pick it. Because sometimes it'd be like Ride Along 2 and the number one movie on Netflix, and you're like, no, it's not. There's no way. There's just no way. And so currently, Supacell has fallen to number 2. But Jazz, aside from you on Twitter, at first I didn't really see a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, so when I started watching it last week, I was just like, okay, Black superheroes. Let me make sure I push this on all my socials just to give people, get it, in the forefront a little bit. I don't have too many followers, but normally when I talk about a show, they'll be like, "Oh, was this good?" I'm like, "Yes." So anytime when I did my reaction video for it, which was a no spoiler, I made it to drop it on the pod page and in my own. And then people would just be like, "Oh, I haven't checked this out. Should I watch it?" Yes. Did you not see me say, "Please check this out"? Like, and using their hashtag and things like that. And then also following their socials. And anytime they promote anything on there, I'm just like, let me make sure I add that to my story just to do my part with it, because we always talk about how we need more Black content, more unique content. So it's just like when you get something, I'm like, I'm make sure that's always on my socials. So
yeah, because like I had already thought about talking about it because it was on Netflix, so I'm like, okay, I'm tapped into what's coming on Netflix, but then I always like to go to Twitter and see if it's buzzing, if are we having a conversation, because House of the Dragon is on right now and all the Black folks are talking about House of the Dragon, and so I was like, okay, do we have similar energy for Supacell? And I'm not quite sure we do yet. And so if you're listening to this, make sure you tell people to go out, check out Supacell. It's number 2 on Netflix right now, but it could be number 1 soon. Like I said, Netflix be playing and making stuff up currently. The Man with 1,000 Kids is number 1. That won't last long. So if people keep watching Supacell, they'll be able to get that back up to number 1. And then maybe we can get a season 2, because based on what y'all are saying, it sounds like, I'm not saying it's a cliffhanger, but it sounds like it's leaving us with a lot of answers, or a lot of questions that we need answers to for the next couple seasons.
I think it's one of them shows where I don't respect cliffhangers. First off, so
when you say you don't respect cliffhangers, what does that mean?
Like, don't, because a lot of people, they leave it where you have to almost get the next one for it to be a complete thing. So I do appreciate this. It's not that. Like, they could have ended it, but it's one of them things where if they continue, yes, I want you to continue. It's a story that is tied up pretty well, but the next one, I think we do need that. What you guys say,
okay.
Jazz? What's
I'm about to say, yeah, Jazz.
There's no way you look at season 1 and be like, this was wrapped up. Like, so you don't think this was a cliffhanger?
I don't. I think it was one of them moments where a season 2, I would love a season 2, but I would be okay with them. It would have been an okay ending, because Jazz, we know what the story is explained in episode 1. Episode 6 gives you the episode 1. Like, what else is there?
There's a lot of story still left to tell. Like,
there's a lot left, but I don't consider it a cliffhanger. It's a thing that can be open.
So let me say an example is Your Honor. Your Honor season 1 ended to where you did not need nothing else after that. It was wrapped. The conflict in that season 1 was wrapped at the end. This, absolutely not. Nah, because I already seen the future. We've seen it. The
conflict, but the conflict is wrapped.
Okay, so I mean, episode 1, we do outline that, the main premise of episode 1 is that we got to go back in time. Like, you have a certain amount of time before this girl is dead. We need to figure out how to stop that from happening, because Dion is going to die. We saw the grave. Michael, this is your chance to fix it. That's the timeline. And it sounds like Jason is saying that is wrapped. But Jazz, there's other stuff out there that we need to discuss, apparently.
Yeah, there is. Like, I'm agreeing with that too. But is the original storyline not wrapped, Jazz? We know if Dion dies or not. Do we not at the end?
But you see, there was a large change in your timeline.
There's a.
I need to know. So this is all
spoilers. This is the spoiler section. This is the spoiler section. Okay. Yeah, y'all tiptoeing around this. Let's talk.
Dion dies like 3 months before she was supposed to. 3 months before Michael was told. I need to know, because my thing is just like that means there's a lot of extra time of things that did not happen in Michael, the future Michael's past. Yes, because Dion died like 3 months early. Did that make sense?
But
Yes.
you got to remember, for somebody that like time travel things, whenever he went to the future, he made a new.
I need to see that.
The old future is a new past. It's different. So his current is the new future. It's
Which
different
means you
now.
have a lot of story to tell. I want to know why all those people is in that. But do not wrap this story up. If Netflix decides they want to just say we're not renewing, I'm be like, somebody else needs to buy this, because there's so much that you can do. Because looking at it from ending this, you can go back in time. You can bring back characters that died in this and go like you could do a lot of you could do some multiverse type of vibes with this. Some characters that are no longer there that you like, Jason, that could come back and it just be something different. So nah, I'm sorry. I'm not. No, ain't no this. I didn't gotta come back.
I didn't say I didn't want season 2. I want season 2. I'm just saying I would be okay if it ended though. Okay. It's not like it's not a necessary thing, but I want it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want that. I'm trying to think of a show where it ended where I'm like, bruh, that's it. Like this, they done. Like I have to now hope we get Interview with a Vampire. I was left hanging with that, and I'm like, bruh, we got to get a season 2. It ended where you introduce something, like you introducing somebody we never seen in the show, a new conversation, and if you know the lore, it's like, all right, we got to get more. And that they eventually announced it like a year later, and then filmed it and dropped it. Shit, it was when they come like 2022, 2021 when the original season dropped.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Interview with the Vampire was based off a book.
I know.
So we knew there was a lot of world.
Yeah.
And this being basically like, you know, just created out of like, there's no comic book or, you know, superhero lore that this is following, then they can make this as long or as short as they would like to. So they could literally stop at season 1. But as we talked about, we don't get a lot of shows that get multiple seasons, because if they don't do well in season 1, a lot of times people will just write them off. I've seen a lot of shows that are predominantly white that they're not great in the first season, but they get the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? They get a chance to come back and try and show that they have more to offer. And I think it'd be a disservice, honestly, if you take a show that is completely brand new. We always talk about, we tired of getting the same stuff. We tired of getting remakes. You know, they're coming out with a Gladiator 2 now. You know, like, bro, do we need another Gladiator? But Denzel Washington's in it. So I'm like, okay, we're going to watch it. You know, but it's like, you want something that's imaginative and new, and you want it to kind of go off and become its own thing. And so having one season of this show, I think it'd be sad. But I do hear what you're saying, Jason, that like it could end and you could be fine with this, but there's a lot left that you could really just flesh out. It sounds like.
Yeah, no, it's no, I'm definitely of that. There's a lot that can be fleshed out for sure. Like I said, I wouldn't be I would be okay if it. That's not what I want from that. You know, I do want another season. So I don't want to confuse that point either.
Chappell, when you finish, please come back to us and let us know how you feel. What side of the road are you on with that?
Yeah, I might do a short or something like that and just kind of give my 2 cents on that. But that's a story for another time. That's once I get through these last few episodes, because again, I followed the assignment. Everybody did not. But that said, it has been a great time talking to the Was It Good Though podcast crew. Jazz, Jason, thank y'all for coming. As y'all both know, y'all are always welcome here. Recap Kickback. It's always fun.
Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Yes. And now the floor is yours. Tell the Recap Kickback listeners what you got going on, what y'all got coming, what content y'all are working on. Tell them about how your team green, you know, just give them the whole rundown. They haven't heard from you in a while.
Listen, you go ahead, man. I just got triggered.
Yeah. This is the Was It Good Though podcast. We drop each and every Tuesday. Episode out now, 108, is the first Purge. That's the current episode that can be seen right now next week. We have the Interview with a Vampire season 2 that drops next Tuesday. Yeah, man, we do, again, movies, TV shows. We also have our own House of the Dragon that we discuss weekly. We're going through the weekly episodes as well. That's kind of dropping, it's been every Tuesday as well. So we just been taking Tuesdays just to go crazy with our drops right now. But yeah, that's us. You can follow us, find us at Was It Good Though Pod, Was It Good Though Podcast on every platform. It'll pull up. So yeah, man, come chat with us. We chat back. We talk. We fun. We like to enjoy. We kick it. We've had Chappell on a few times. So
I'll be in the chat.
We definitely gets it in. We definitely gets it in, man. So I appreciate you following us.
No, it's always fun talking to y'all, and it's fun watching y'all's lives. I enjoy y'all social media presence for sure, y'all's shorts, and y'all have the way y'all highlight what's coming next. All that is so cool. So if you're listening to this podcast, please go check out the Was It Good Though podcast. I'm gonna try to have them back on so that we can maybe at the end of the season of House of the Dragon, maybe I could try to explain to them why they should be Team Green, but that's a story for another time. We'll put that on the back burner, see if Mari's down for it, and maybe we can assemble a panel discussion just so I can start to show these people the error of their ways. But Jazz, what is that face? How come every time I say Team Green, you making faces?
Because I don't understand why you be fighting every week for that team, but it's okay.
I wouldn't have to fight
ours. We'll bring you on ours, and we can go ahead. You can defend it all you want to, and we're gonna look at you like you crazy.
That's fine. Look, I wouldn't have to fight if y'all wasn't so violent on Team Black. That's all I'm saying. So, Jazz, plug your social media. Let everybody know where they can find you. Outside of Was It Good Though, if you want.
Oh, sure. Well, you can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, JL Step 3. And I don't remember what my TikTok name is, but everything is linked together except for my TikTok, but it's not too wild. So anyway, yes, all on socials, Jazz, Was It Good Though podcast, 50%.
Yes.
And Jason,
dark. Yeah, I was saying, I don't know why you're in the dark. Jason, do you want to plug your, pitch black. All we see is teeths.
Right.
Coming out the dark, that's crazy. Yeah, man, you can find me on all social media at Jabron on that's DA track. Yeah, man, I've cut back on my social media usage, so it's not as much as it once was, and I'm not as wild as I once was. So you got to come to the podcast to hear that side of me. Yeah,
yeah. We'll talk about that too. And then of course. I just think we should talk about it.
He used his socials to defend Drake, and that's it.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Drake, you defend Team Green, and I just be like,
"Wow, okay, that's not even the same thing."
That's
not even close.
I haven't defended anything. I just say what Drake should have done in that moment. He fucked it up, so it is what it is.
Right? Should we have done a follow up? Stop it.
There's no follow up. That after the video is over. It's over with.
I'm saying we dropped the beef podcast. It did well. People enjoyed it. Should we have done a follow-up to kind of show how we ended, like where we are now that the video is out? Or you don't want to talk about it, Jason?
I'm here, man. I was there at the pop-up. I'm listening to the concert every day almost. It worked. I'm bumping the concert every day. It worked. The video is out now. I'm enjoying the video. So yeah, he got some. He rock my boy head top. My boy just need to go hide for a moment in this dungeon, wherever he hiding the kids at. He need to go over there and go hide too.
Did you just call him Starlight?
That's a different show. I tried so hard to warn people not to get. I tried to tell people, I was like, "Hey, this is the boogeyman. Y'all don't want it with this man. Y'all don't want it." Y'all got on the podcast talking about Drake. I heard people bring up J. Cole. I was like, y'all, this is a misstep. This is not good. Y'all don't understand. You don't understand. This man's a menace.
But now, do you understand why J. Cole removed himself from all of this?
I mean, yeah.
It's still a bitch move. It took
I
a
don't
big move.
respect it. Yeah, I know he did the right thing. I don't respect it. You know,
And
it's like,
and I just don't understand why. I don't understand how Drake entered this. It was a 12-year-old beef brewing, and you came in there and didn't do shit with it. You had the moment, the opportunity to be seized. I wouldn't have either. It would have been one or two things. I never would have replied, or I would have took my time and replied. I would listen to everything Kendrick had ever put out and responded to different songs that I just didn't understand why he was saying those type of things. And because that's pretty much what he did with the last beef, and he just expected people to just ride what he said. I'm like, no, that's not how this go. And he killed you in broad daylight as you were celebrating, and now he's stepping on your grave 4 times. Like what?
he
done made
hopscotching on your grave. Yeah,
him and his family.
Him and his family. Yeah, whew, tough times out here for the Grams. But that's the end of this podcast. Thank you all for listening to our recap of Supacell, the premiere. Got a little spoiler section in there. Got a little extra about our follow-up from Drake and Kendrick's beef. We covered so much here on Recap Kickback, and we got so much more coming your way. Like I said, Black Barbie with Gia and LaTanya coming soon. More House of the Dragon with Mari. We're going to be talking about Sprint. Sha'Carri and them on Netflix. They got a new documentary. We got I think there's a Simone Biles documentary coming soon to get ready for the Olympics. So I'm going to try to get that all covered here on Recap Kickback. So tune in, subscribe, and make sure you follow Recap Kickback on all social media platforms. For Jazz, for Jason, and for myself, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We'll talk to you all next time. Peace.